Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back.
Then one day, gazing towards the horizon, the Queen spotted Lyrian banners whipping about in the wind.
At long last,
She said with a smile. Meve resolved to speak with the commander, one Baronet Eldar. It was the first time they met, and the youth very much impressed her. Yet instead of questioning Eldar about the foe's troop movements, Reynard took the conversation down a seemingly irrelevant path.
And how's your father, if I may ask? In good health, I hope?
Yes, though he still nurses that bump he suffered while hunting last winter. Yet he's not one to complain. I'll tell him you asked.
Irritated at the trivial nature of the conversation, Meve gave her horse a dose of her reins and cantered off. Once Eldar and his men were safely behind them, she took Reynard aside.
Reynard, this is no time for gossip and pleasantries. We are at war.
Yes, Your Majesty. And in such times, little should be taken at face value. Even a man's name.
Get to the point, Reynard.
Eldar's father died a month past. His son, I venture, should have known as much.
But that means... Oh, the bastard. Impeccable accent, though.
I fear he's rather representative of what we face. Nilfgaardian spies are ever well prepared.
Tell me, how did you know?
He wears no mourning on his armor. Were it not for that, I dare say I might never have guessed. What are your orders, Your Grace? To observe these Nilfgaardian mummers?
Now, I'm not sure how the second dialogue affects you in any way. So, if you know something about it, please let me know down below in the comments. And I'm gonna choose this one.
Assemble a force. Tell them to follow our new allies. Observe them closely.
As you wish, Your Grace.
Reynard's scouts did as ordered, watching the false Lyrians while themselves remaining unseen. Soon after, a scout returned with news that the false Lyrians seemed headed for Rosburg, a castle several leagues to the north.
House, barn, granary, burnt it all down. Begged 'em, my lady, on hands and knees. They just laughed. We offend their emperor some ways, Your Majesty. We offend their house, barn, granary, blackclads burnt it all down. We offend their
The false Lyrians approached Rosburg Castle. They sought to convince the defenders to open the gate. As their commanders negotiated with the commander on the ramparts, the remaining infiltrators crouched hidden behind a wall, awaiting the signal to rush forth.
Time for Baronet Elder to join his falsely claimed father.
Muttered the Queen.
Follow me!
They found us! Säga Tuvin! Tuvin i gloire!
Got any victuals? Hungry like a wolf, I am.
Right! I'm a warsaw.
Army's a waste of time for one like me. Alba!
Lyria!
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Exzellent Zweifel! One goes.
Elherzer.
Left, right, left, right.
Yes. What? Who dares? Give me a target. Pays late. Again. Exzellent Zweifel!
Elherzer. We must trust each other.
Yes.
Again and again and again.
Our ballista, your command.
Scheiß! In Trade! Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Gloire en Kazer! Discipline, that is what you folk lack.
The castle is secure, Your Grace.
The Nilfgaardians found themselves in a clinch. As boiling oil and tar rained down on them from the walls, they attempted to retreat. Yet Meve's halberdiers cut off their path, and at the fight's end, Meve was victorious. The garrison commander now knelt by the body of the purported Baronet Eldar, in truth a Nilfgaardian spy. He shook his head in disbelief.
He addressed me by name. Knew our watchwords. Why, if you hadn't come along, Your Grace, I fear even to think on it.
Let this be a lesson, then. Trust no one, not a living soul.
Though victory was theirs, the Lyrians left Rosburg in mightily low spirits. They now knew well that Nilfgaard's spies were no less a threat than its heavy cavalry, than its war machines that spit fire.
Milady, if I may, the enemy yet lurks. You must bolster your force. You must incorporate a detachment from my unit. The times, the world, the day. Can't even tell friend from foe. Treachery round every corner. The black lads may have more mounts and machines, but they've no honor, not an ounce. Watch your back, man. Can't trust no one these days. Not a soul. Watch your back.
What the devil is going on? Where are our reinforcements? Why does Willem not ride out to face the foe, relieve besieged towns?
I can't say, Your Grace. We haven't had a single scroll from the Prince.
Gods be damned. I've the impression I'm alone in fighting the Blackclads.
Beware, my lady. Keep a keen watch. Heard the thunder of hooves from the high road. Cries ferocious in a foreign tongue. Your Majesty, what of Prince Willem? Where is he? Why's he not come to relieve us? We'd had omens, oddities that foretold this war. Blood in the milk, stillborn foals, trees withered of a sudden, and I lost me tooth in a sweet bun. Beware, my lady. Keep... Your Majesty, beware, my...
So, if we lose 2 men, we will get morale and a piece of a card.
Meve's retinue was riding through a narrow gully when a shrill cry cut the air.
Elven in order!
The gully came alive, and soldiers in black armor rushed forth. A cry in turn went up and down Meve's ranks. Ambush!
Defensive formation!
Must be an important lesson in this.
But what?
Okay, so this card has a timer and it says it will gain resilience. Now what resilience means? It means that when this round ends, this card will stay here in the next round. But the thing is, there is no next round. So this card isn't that much strong.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
101, 102, 103.
Left, right, left, right.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Alba! I'm a one, sir.
Ah!
Again and again and again.
Gloire! Laria! My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
Keep calm, Tiberius.
One boat.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei! I'm coming, I'm coming.
A highly curious case.
Tell me you jest.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Off to the front yet again.
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
Give me a time. Arbalist to your command. Can't take any more.
Egreto dum anime est.
Okay, so they passed. But I'm gonna drop this final card.
I want them taken alive! I need answers!
After the skirmish, the Queen's troops brought several Nilfgaardian prisoners before her. Reynard, who had the best command of their mongrel tongue, interrogated. His first question? How many battalions were marching on Dravograd?
Kes, Zagdran, ep Dravograd, ven.
The prisoners whispered feverishly, then one spoke on their behalf. They would answer no questions until the Queen pledged to free them in return. The Lyrian soldiers saw this as arrogance, and said as much.
Conditions they're giving us now? Sons of whores! I say, we find a tree with a strong bough, several...
Now there is a trick with this choice. So let's try to free them.
Ignoring the objections of her retinue, Meve pledged what the soldiers wished. They, in turn, admitted their commander had pushed forward ahead of the army's core force. He now awaited reinforcements that would let him take Dravograd. The prisoners claimed these units would march through the village of Turnofin.
To lay there in ambush. Hold them. They could not join forces.
Reynard whispered, leaning in towards the Queen.
We would gain the advantage for the decisive battle.
Meve had obtained invaluable information, while the prisoners would gain their freedom. Or so it seemed at the time.
Now, with this information, we can ambush one of the Nilfgaardian forces, and then in a later card battle, a Nilfgaardian force will not receive any reinforcements. So that card battle is gonna be much easier. Or at least somewhat easier. And now let's see what should we do with these prisoners. So I would let them go. And my army would lose some of the morale. But they came here to kill, to execute. They ambushed me. They didn't ambush me just to let me go. So...
The Queen listened closely to the prisoners, nodding many times. Then she simply said,
Hang them.
As they were dragged away, the prisoners shouted, protested, cursed the Queen, to exactly no avail. Meve simply could not risk their betraying her position as easily as they'd betrayed their commanders.
Oh yeah, and they probably would betray me. At their commander, so...
That day, Meve demonstrated she would show the invaders no mercy. The Lyrians marched off, strengthened in their resolve, prepared to fight to the death.
Now, I'm not sure what happens if you let them go, but if you have any information, please let me know down below in the comments.
Your Majesty, we died. Blackclads trampled my son, Your Majesty. You saw him walking along the road. He didn't slow, not one bit. My lady, I've nae much, but I'll gladly give my last coin for the cause, for vengeance.
Thank you.
Blackclads think us less nor dogs. Ostrich, they cut him down, took his head. All for not taking his hat off in front of their general. Blackclads trampled my son, Your Majesty. Blackclads...
again and again and again. Army's a waste of time for one like me.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Left, right, left, right.
Aye.
Pays late. Again. There's not to reason why.
Arbalist at your command. Armor won't serve.
Is she gonna pass? She's not gonna pass. Nice. She's probably gonna pass now. Yeah.
Take it anymore.
Tell me you jest.
One bolt.
Company! Forward march!
Nice, we got a new treasure map. Okay, so we are here. And here we have somewhat important decision to make. So, I'm gonna save.
Meve and company passed by a village evidently pillaged by the Nilfgaardians. From afar they had heard cries, but as they drew near they recognized them not as cries of grief, but as cursing, cries of anger.
Give him a proper walloping, the scoundrel!
Mercy, good folk! I've done nothing wrong!
The villagers stood gathered near the hamlet's center, surrounding an elf, bloodied and cowering. Stones in hand, the peasants threatened and cursed him. The queen demanded an explanation. A ruddy-faced blacksmith stepped forth and spit.
A Nilfgaardian spy the horse and is, your majesty. He's the one brought him here to raise the village. He's got to hang.
The other villagers agreed with the smith. The elf fell at the queen's feet and groveled.
Have mercy, Renner. Save your loyal subject. They lie. They fault me only as I am an elf.
Meve was torn, could not decide who spoke the truth. She thus resolved not to meddle at all. Coming to the elf's defense could only rile the resentful crowd. Later, as the villagers placed a noose around his neck, the elf cursed the queen's indifference to his fate.
Devils take you, Breaker! Devils take you! Your line! Your whole damned land!
Meve gave the signal to depart. As her force marched off, all heard the elf's cries of grief and pleas for mercy. Then they stopped mid-sentence, and the silence rang in Meve's and her soldiers' ears.
One traitorous head less than we had afore. One traitorous head. One traitor.
And let's reload. Okay, now let's spare his life.
Whence this certainty of his guilt? Have you any proof?
Asked Meve.
Did anyone see him communing with the foe? Did he hold any coin with a foreign stamp?
The villagers eyed Meve angrily, their hands clenched into fists. Yet none dared utter a word in protest.
Know this. The Blackclads need no reason to pillage our homes. Now stand aside and let this wretch go.
The elf tearfully thanked the queen, then begged her not to leave him behind. Instead, he pleaded vehemently to join her retinue.
Your most noble grace, please, I beg you. As soon as you're gone, the Dwan will hang me from the nearest tree.
Now, if you let him join you, this is what's gonna happen.
Meve stood surrounded by advisors, discussing. When all at once they heard a mighty thud.
Bloody hell!
They looked to see a cavalryman who'd clearly fallen from his saddle. The men who'd witnessed the blunder began to jest, only to choke on their laughter, as the wretch, having risen to his hands and knees, began to shake and vomit blood. The medic's diagnosis: poison. In spite of his best efforts, the cavalryman breathed his last that very night. Soon, several other riders developed the same symptoms, and at the last shared their comrade's fate. All were buried at the roadside, beneath an old willow.
This looks to be no coincidence,
Reynard said, gravely.
Our stores of water. Someone's poisoned them. We must find the fiend. In the interim, your majesty must quench her thirst with wine.
One evening, soldiers brought before Meve the elf she had saved from a lynching. It seemed he had been the fiend who had poisoned the water barrels from which several soldiers had drunk, then suffered and died.
Yes, I did it. And I regret it not one bit.
Seethed the elf.
Nilfgaardian, Temerian, some brute from Lyria, you Dwan are all alike. I detest you. All of you, your filth for what you wrought with my brethren. I'm proud. I am that even a few of your kind perished at my hand. Hail and Shay.
Meve pursed her lips into a thin white line. Reynard knew the expression. It did not bode well.
I should drag you to the capital. Hang you high in the market square.
Meve said through gritted teeth.
Yet this you would want. Am I right? For your folk to speak of you? For your folk to remember? Well, you shan't have it. You'll hang here, in the middle of nowhere, with but crows to witness it and then pick at your eyes.
It was a summary execution. No sentence was read, no last wish observed. The elf's corpse then hung long at the roadside, as none came forth to claim and bury it.
So I'm not gonna take him with me.
To stop a lynching was one thing. It was another to admit one of uncertain reputation into her ranks. So she denied the elf's request. Yet he sought still to persuade her.
Your Grace, you know I shall surely die here should I remain.
Then pack your belongings and move on, sir,
said the Queen, swatting aside the elf's hands raised in supplication.
No more can I do for you.
The elf was unhappy with the Queen's decision, this was clear. But he had sense enough to keep his tongue. Soon after, he left the hamlet, a bundle on his back, barking dogs and peasant oaths at his heels.
I swear it, Your Majesty. The elf was scheming with the Blackclads. The gods be witnesses. You've shown yourself to be merciful, milady. I fear the Blackclads won't be so inclined. Not in the least.
Meve's force made its way to the place the prisoners had indicated, a quaint village named Turnofin. And indeed, soon a cloud of dust appeared on the horizon. A large enemy force approached.
We await your order, Your Grace.
Reynard peered at Meve expectantly. Meve could not let this opportunity pass. The Nilfgaardians marched on, oblivious to the threat. As soon as they found themselves within range, she signaled her arbalists to loose their bolts, then led her cavalry in a charge.
At them! Follow me! Gee up!
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Left, right, left, right.
101, 102, 103.
Again and again and again. Arm's a waste of time for one like me.
152, 154.
Our ballista, your command. Armor one, sir.
We must trust each other.
Keep calm, Tiberius.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Now, how did that incantation go?
One vote.
Oh, Lyrian lummoxes.
Can't take it anymore.
Herrhäuser.
Got any victuals? Hungry like a wolf I am.
Egreutro dum anime est, spes est. My prescription, a bit of bloodletting.
Splendid! One last push now! Not a blackclad to remain within sight of Dravograd!
Thus Meve led her force to victory. Historians would later term this encounter the Battle of Turnofin. Those Nilfgaardians who survived it spoke of a terror on the field. A woman warrior in gilded armor spattered with blood, her blows so powerful as to pierce the heaviest breastplate, the thickest buckler. The Lyrians now set off toward Dravograd, buoyed by the vision of their foe expecting reinforcements, friendly banners on the horizon, none of which would ever arrive.
The blackclads may outnumber us, but we're the more cunning, with the wit!
That's how you kill blackclads, with swarms of bolts from the thicket and pitfalls neath their feet. Ha! Sure, their armor's black, but their blood flows red. Well, only one life to live. I'll march with you, don your colours. We'll chase them blackclads back across the Yaruga.
Now, since we have a signpost here, I wanna go back here. Because I forgot some wood to take. And now let's go back. Also here we have a treasure chest.
Remember this, Nilfgaardians. You'll not defeat the gods. They fear not your torches. They fear not your swords. Blasphemers, pagans, idolaters who prostrate themselves to the sun. Curse you, sons of Nilfgaard. Mongrels, tear your flesh and gnaw your bones. Curse you, curse. Remember this, Nilfgaardians. You'll not defeat. Curse you, son.
Seen so many armed men in my life, and each one in black plate and winged elm. Heard them Nilfgaardians got hearts of stone, no mercy for a single soul. Reinforcements from the capital, milady. Where are they? Why've we no protection? Reinforcements from the... Heard them Nilfgaardians got hearts of stone, no... Heard them Nilfgaard...
A dark shadow suddenly cut across the sky. The Queen instinctively brought her shield up, convinced a Nilfgaardian catapult had lobbed a boulder their way. Yet when the boulder landed in the road ahead, it smashed into splinters and proved an empty barrel.
This is what they cast at us. Barrels. Is this some jest?
Well, they're not known for their sense of humour, the Nilfgaardians,
answered Reynard. Meve stood in her stirrups, squinted, peered into the distance, and let out a hearty chortle. For the barrel had been loosed by neither catapult nor trebuchet, but by a rock troll consumed by fury. At what? A company of Nilfgaardian soldiers had pitched camp by the cave the troll called home.
Of course we're gonna help the troll.
Troll or non-troll?
Said the Queen, drawing her sword.
None deserve to die at Nilfgaard's hands. Follow me!
Avian! Essayer to the Avian!
For Shoop!
Protect the troll!
Left, right, left, right.
I never miss. You can try to win them all, but you won't.
For Rivia!
One bolt. Ah! It's safe!
Your Grace, the troll, it's a bit unpredictable.
Hail Katza! Give me a target.
Again and again and again.
Ha! This one's got spirit.
Can't take it anymore.
Company! Forward march!
Catch him! He's worth 20 florins! Used to be I hunted game. Men bring more coin.
Arbalist at your command. This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
If you insist.
Finally, I can target this guy. Nice, now I can pass.
Humans good do. Shoop help.
The Lyrians smashed the Nilfgaardian force. The troll, having grown suddenly pensive, gazed and picked at the invaders' corpses.
Clad in blacks humans, no good humans.
Just so, Sir Troll. The Nilfgaardians are a devious lot. Our land they've attacked most treacherously.
Clad in blacks humans hard. Why no good humans? Big lot armor. Shoe got to. Try morsel of human, you wish?
Do you know to whom you speak? This is Her Majesty, your queen.
Greeting your queen. Shoop is me.
There, Reynard. I believe I can manage this. Say, Shoop, you've quite the stockpile of kegs. Do you engage in custom, perhaps?
No. Keg's good for smash when Shoop angry gets. But costume engaging. That what mean?
It means... well, to trade one thing for another. At a profit.
One thing for other. For glitter rocks, even.
Yes, if you play your cards right, you might just convince someone to pay you in rocks.
Cards, kegs, trade, glitter rocks. Oh, Shoop plan got. Shoop gotta go. Afore human go, Shoop human give. Your queen aid give, your queen aid get.
The troll turned on his heel and ran out of his cave, his destination known only to himself. As she moved to leave, a hunch told Meve the world would yet hear of this troll named Shoop.
Okay, so we've got a new card. Elf and onion soup. Which is actually pretty cool. So since our morale fell down a little bit, let's increase it with this shrine.
Look at the palisades. The machines of war. Too many to count.
I cannot fathom it. Has Nilfgaard sent all its forces into Lyria?
No, your grace. But a single army.
Gods protect us.
The queen uttered a juicy curse. Dravograd stood before them, Nilfgaardians all round it. 3, perhaps 4 battalions of armored infantry, arbalists and cavalry behind them. Trebuchet volleys had punched holes in the walls, while battering rams had twisted the main gate open. But elsewise, the city was mere moments from falling to the foe.
Doomed! We stand not a chance. Nilfgaard outnumbers us twofold. More!
Then our men must put double the spirit into the fight. Double the heart. Lyria!
Emboldened by their valiant queen and commander, the Lyrians charged headlong at Nilfgaard's lines into a hail of bolts and arrows.
More black-clad filth!
Your Grace, I see the commander. We must train our efforts on him.
Eddard Fane!
Ah!
Again and again and again.
Alba!
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Gloire! Can't take it anymore.
Ah!
Got any victuals? Hungry like a wolf, I am.
Armor won't sell.
The captives didn't deceive. It was fortunate we snared those reinforcements.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Trouver gloire!
Left, right, left, right.
Alba! I'm coming. Gloire! Maria! Yes.
One bolt.
Time I taught you some respect.
Give me a time.
Excellent Zweifel!
Arbalist at your command.
Elherzer!
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Aye.
Brach! Scheiß! In!
Zwei!
Off to the front yet again. To the front yet again.
They retreat! Your Majesty, the city's ours!
The Nilfgaardians fled in panic, abandoning war machines, shields and arms, even their wounded. The defenders rejoiced. They laughed boisterously, and cries of delight and chanting could be heard all around. "Warrior Queen," they shouted. "Meve! Meve! Meve!"
Hear that, Your Grace.
I do. No sound rings more lovely to a ruler's ear. Yet rest on our laurels we cannot. Caldwell, the situation in the town, what can you tell me?
Wall breached. Thrice. 400 wounded, near 1,000 without roofs over their heads. All nothing compared to the grain stores. Went up in smoke during the siege. And it's some time yet afore the harvest. Your Grace, the war's just begun, I know. All coin should bolster the army, yet if we leave the folk of Dravograd no gold, there will be hunger, with all the attendant discord.
And let's give them the money.
The drought of 1258 I remember all too well. I saw famine, what it drives folk to do, the extremes. A strong army I need desperately, yet not at all costs. The townsfolk need gold to survive till the harvest. Count how much, then give it to the garrison commander.
As you command, Your Grace?
The battle we've won, there's just the war that remains. And Nilfgaard will strike again, doubt it not. We must move on. Caldwell, ride ahead to Lyria. My son must call a gathering of the Council of Peers. Tell him so. We'll have much to discuss. Reynard and I will follow with the troops. We shall seek out any Nilfgaardian stragglers, prevent them from rejoining the main force.
So this guy is no longer with us. But we got this card.
Meve's two adjutants bowed and left the Queen to think. She was hungry, sore from the fight, spent. Yet sensing her soldiers' eyes upon her, she set off for the stable, her gait brisk, her head held high.
Thought 'twas certain as snow comes with winter. Kings and emperors fight. Leave the common folk to tidy up. Never damn changes. Ever the same. Your Majesty, you saved us, and not a moment too soon. From death, and fates worse than that, I'd say.
kings and emperors fight. Leave the common folk to live me.
By the way, if we didn't interrogate those Nilfgaardians from the ambush, and if we didn't ambush the Nilfgaardian caravan, they would have reinforced this battle. We've got another elf and onion soup.
Golden armor, golden hair, reeks blackclads like grain. Meve!
And we will continue this in the next episode. So if you liked this one, give it a like, dislike if you think it sucked, and see you next time. Thank you.